How you doing, buddy?
See you again, remember me?
Yeah, I do remember you.
So,
I actually do remember you. As soon as I seen you, I was like, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, and I'm going to the same spot. So, yeah. How was your Thanksgiving?
I don't practice that.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah. I don't keep any of the traditional holidays. I'm Messianic, so I keep all the Jewish holidays basically.
Yeah.
They're not really Jewish, they're gods, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also not, like, Thanksgiving is also something quite foreign to me because
Yeah.
I'm from Hungary, so and I'm pretty sure, do they even practice it in Canada or is it only the US?
I think they practice it in Canada, but I think it's different. It's a different
Yeah.
season or a different time but yeah, I'm not exactly positive on that.
Oh,
so.
absolutely. Especially because I have this international perspective. It was always a bit weird to celebrate that they took away the lands from natives. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, very mixed. And one time I even attended a dinner where there was a guy who was like 20% Apache.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we had a very interesting conversation about what's their interpretation of
Yeah.
the whole story.
Well, yeah, and from their perspective, I can imagine it's pretty crappy, really.
It is. But
And nobody, that's the thing. You brought up a good point there. Nobody thinks about that kind of stuff. They don't
Yeah.
think about other people's feelings about it.
Yeah. But he brought up a good point. So he said that he wants to remember. So for him, it's a little bit like, Columbus Day and Indigenous
Yeah.
Peoples Day. So for him, it was also important to remember, but it was more like a somber,
Yeah.
Yeah, almost like a national tragedy.
That's like,
But certainly not like the kind of festive or celebratory
Yeah.
gathering. Yeah, but I think most families in the US, they really don't think about
Yeah,
this. They just
they-
think it's a big family gathering.
yeah, and that was kind of my thing, like with this last one, because I'm Messianic. I've been trying to get my family to understand more of the actual ways of the Bible and stuff. And that was my big thing about them, that I was telling them, is like, you guys don't even realize what you're practicing.
Yeah.
Like you weren't
Just follow
there.
the
You don't have
rituals,
any.
but don't
Yeah.
understand the meaning of it.
Yeah. You're just keeping this man-made tradition alive that really, if you think about it, is an evil tradition.
And then if you add like the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday,
Yeah.
all that crap onto that, which
Yeah.
purely consumerism and marketing.
Add fuel to the fire, salt to the wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same way how Christmas got commercialized.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
it's all about gifts and presents.
Yep. And Christmas is another one that, like, don't even get me started on it, because the whole thing is just completely made up. It's just a made up day.
You
Like-
heard about this story that the reason why they are having it that day is because it coincides with the winter solstice,
yep, yep.
and like it was a pagan tradition
Yep.
to celebrate that.
Yeah,
new
it was
cycle.
definitely a pagan tradition.
Yeah, and even the tradition of celebrating with a pine tree, that's such a pagan
Yeah,
tradition.
yeah. It's like, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
And then they claim it's Jesus, his birthday, and that ain't even his name. Like, I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody, so I try not to go into it
No, but
too deep. But
I feel that the Christian church, specifically the Catholic Church back then, they were very effective at pretty much like stealing all the traditions
Yes.
from other
Yes,
cultures,
absolutely.
including Easter. That was also a
absolutely,
good example.
yeah. Easter actually is a pagan goddess
Yeah.
of fertility.
Yeah.
It's like, what are
and-
you doing?
And Catholics or Christians don't even think about it. Like,
No.
why do we symbolize it with the rabbit and eggs and all that stuff? Like, they don't even think about it. It doesn't have any Christian meaning.
Yeah.
Right? They just borrowed
And
it.
in the church nowadays, they have these Easter egg hunts and stuff, and it's like,
Yes.
you don't realize that you're not worshiping God by doing that. You're worshiping a
Yeah.
pagan god.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
And if they ever read the Bible, they would know it's
Yes.
wrong.
Yes.
It's an idol. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I don't understand about the preachers that go along with it. It's like, what if you really knew your Bible like you say you do, you would realize that God is completely against all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I think that they are more about not necessarily they want power, but they want to feel respected. They
Yep.
want to feel important in their
Yep.
communities. So
Same thing with the Pharisees in the Messiah's time.
Yeah.
They wanted the stature. They
Yes.
didn't really want
Yeah,
to. They did the things because it gave them good stature.
yeah.
It made them important.
Which
And that's
is
what the
so-
Messiah was saying. He was saying, you guys do these things not from your heart. You do them because you want other people to see.
Yeah. Which is Have you seen there's that old movie Life of Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen
No,
that?
I haven't
It's,
seen it.
You know the British group, the Monty Python?
Oh, yeah?
So it's a movie made by them, and they kind of make fun of this that, like back then when Christianity and Judaism evolved, and even those early prophets or early priests were so much against Scripture. That
Yeah.
It's exactly the opposite. Like they try to amass status and power and
Mhm.
also wealth.
Yep.
Just completely the opposite. Yeah, I wish more people actually read the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, that. And the confusing thing to me is it actually tells you in the Bible
Yeah.
to read it and to be taught of Him and to understand it for yourself, not to allow some other man to
Some
give you an
institution,
interpretation.
Yeah, some institution that has their
Yeah.
own agenda, their own economic
Yes.
interests. Yeah, but people are lazy. They
Mhm.
want to be told what to think.
Yep. Yeah, nowadays especially. I mean, it really is like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
I mean, even out here on the road all the time, I'm like, how did you even get a license? Like, what are you doing? They don't read signs. Like, it's just, how do you people even survive? And they ain't
I'm
ready for
also
what's coming.
surprised, yeah. Oh, trust me, they wouldn't. Like, if they didn't have modern technology, like internet
Yeah.
and all the stuff, utilities, they wouldn't know how to survive.
No.
You put them out in the wilderness, they will starve in 3 days, even if there's plenty of food around.
Yep.
Yeah, they wouldn't
Yep.
survive.
That's what I said. They say that you can survive 3 weeks without food. And a lot of these people nowadays, I don't even think they could survive that long.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've literally had people tell me, like, I have a conversation with somebody and I'll say, where do you think food comes from? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, the market. Yeah, you just go to the market and get it. I was like, yeah, but before that, well, it's always at the market. No, an animal had to die for that food to be
Yeah.
there. Or, the plants had to be planted or whatever. Like, they don't realize that there's a process to everything.
Yeah. And there's a price, like including
Yes.
moral price you have
Yes.
to pay, and you have to respect the animals. Like I hate the hypocrisy that so many people judge others who hunt for a living.
Yeah. Yep.
And they judge
Oh, it's
them.
doing the same thing it did last time. I'm going to have to go around.
Yeah, you can go around. We have plenty of time.
I'm going to go this way.
And they judge hunters from a moral high ground and while they are still eating meat all the
Yep.
time, and which is based on like farmed animals or industry animals, which are it's just torture and suffering and way worse. than
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
hunting. I was also thinking a lot that humankind for millennia was so connected to nature and
Yes.
animals, and you saw the process. And I realized this because my grandparents were still doing that. They had a farm, they had
Yes.
chickens. Like I spent all
Even
my
the
summers.
ancestors that, like even the native people that were originally from America,
Yeah.
like even them, they did everything
Yeah.
naturally. Like,
Yeah. And now you look around and most people in society are so disconnected
Yep.
from it. They never even experienced it.
well, and that's why you have all this depression
I
and
think
all
so.
that, because
Yeah.
like you have to have, like, our connection to the earth is so much more than just this physical reaction that
Yeah.
we think is happening. It's actually happening internal too. Like they say, even taking your shoes and socks off and being connected literally
Oh,
to the earth is
I-
like a magnetic thing
I
that
totally believe in that, yeah.
people don't realize all the things that they're starving themselves from I mean, even natural resources like herbs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because we have modern day medicine nowadays, they think that that's the answer to everything,
and
and it's
they
not.
can replace. Yeah. Yeah, there is just so much wisdom that people ignore and forgot, and they think it's inferior.
He created us to be self-healing, self-regenerative, aware, responsible, whatever word you want to put in there. Like, we have all the resources we need, and our bodies are fully capable of doing everything they need to do.
And there's so many of these modern diseases like diabetes that didn't exist
Yeah.
until about 100 years ago.
Yep. Before the
Not at
medicals,
all.
before all this freaking modern day medicine and all that crap. Yep.
Processed sugar, processed like.
Because then they were
food.
using natural resources. They would go to, what they knew worked, which was the natural remedies.
But
And
you know
still
what's
to this
the
day,
horrible
buddy, I
thing?
can tell you right now, anytime I get the flu, I do what's called the flu bomb.
What is that?
It's basically like lemon, honey, cayenne pepper, garlic, different stuff you mix together.
Uh-huh.
And dude, I'm telling you, within the one day, I'm completely cured of it.
They're pretty much the same. I also do ginger.
Yeah,
I like to
ginger's
chew
really
ginger
good for you.
And the good chicken broth.
Yes. Yeah, ginger is really good for you. Ginger's in that flu bomb as well.
Yeah, and you know what's horrible? That it's all these economic interests of big pharma. So
Yep.
they intentionally want to get people diabetes, heart
Yeah.
attack, and sick. So
Well,
they
it's a
can
$1 trillion
sell
business, yeah.
Sell those crazy expensive medications.
Yeah,
treatments.
cancer itself is a $1 trillion business.
I
So
believe so,
it's easier for them to get you sick on cancer and then give you leukemia that's going to make you more sick
Yeah.
than to
Way
actually
to-
solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't realize what. I'm trying to get out of your way, buddy, because I know you're going to have most of that. Yeah, he has to take the whole road. I thought he did. That's a tight turn for a bus. You want me to take you around to the door?
Here it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm just waiting for the shuttle bus.
Yeah,
Thank you
I
again,
thought you
and
were.
enjoy
Hey,
the
no problem. And
conversation,
yeah,
Looking forward
awesome
to the next
conversation.
time.
I'll pop the trunk too.